Practice squad week 2. We taking deuces on you.
Welcome back to Practice Squad. It's week 2. We have a special episode for you. Washington sports legend Santana Moss was kind enough to sit down with me at Busboys and Poets outside DC. We had a wide-ranging conversation about his career, what it was like playing for young coaches like Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. We even talked about concussions and the fear of the impact that it might have on his life going forward. But that's enough for me. Let's get into the conversation. You had a lot of great coaches while you were in Washington, and you were with Kyle Shanahan and McVay, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about both of those guys.
Oh man, it's funny, man, because I've been a guy that always accepted guys for who they are. What's your role is. If my 8-year-old right now came in here and they said he was my wide receiver coach, that's my wide receiver coach, no matter his age. So I had to experience that with, Sean being 22 years old, he was my assistant receiver coach. And I remember sitting in that meeting, and I'm at the point in my career where coaches would look at me in godly forms and fashions and be like, feel like anything they say, it doesn't pertain to me. No, that's what you feel, then I need to be able to take that too. Whatever criticism you have, give it to me. I'm no different from none of these other guys. And I had that talk with Sean McVay when he was young, 22 years old, and he's like, bro, you just took a lot of pressure off my shoulders, and now I feel like if you can accept that, every guy in this room should be able to accept that, no doubt. Cal was a guy that he didn't really care about that age thing, and you shouldn't care. He was a coach, and he was gonna coach you how he seen fit. He might give you a little, something, more with it. And as a man, you might have to say, here, hey, look, chill out. We men at the end of the day. But you respect that because he didn't look at it as these guys superior. Nah, I'm their coach. I found both of those guys was something special, and I knew eventually time was gonna come for them to be sitting in the seats they're in right now.
Which, this season, who do you think is going to have a better record, McVay or Shanahan?
It's hard to say because it's early, but just with the makeup of their teams, I like McVay's quarterback a little more. I like the defense, what I've been seeing. And I said this preseason. I said Sean he's coming into a situation that might suit him a little better. And then, guys play for guys that they feel like can just, it's something about those coaches that they're easy enough to get along with, but they're hard on you when the time's needed. I think Sean's that type of guy. He's gonna be hard on you when it's time, but he's easy going all the time. And what he done is put guys at every, from offensive coordinator, defense, special teams, he put those guys in place so they can be that, that what you call it, when you need that extra from somebody, it don't have to be him. Yeah. He can rely on his offensive coordinator to go out there and, man, hey, get this offense right. Defensive coordinator, get this defense right. So, Cal is a different kind of coach. He's gonna be stern and he's gonna have his moments, when, you might not like what he says. Everybody don't buy into those kind of coaches. But I think with just his background and what his offense can do, I think one of the best offenses I've ever played in or under, eventually when they get a quarterback that they can really, depend on, it might be Kirk in the future. You never know. I don't think right now they have the best quarterback for that team, but I think eventually, just like he did over there in Atlanta, because they had weapons for years and they just didn't have the right offense to run. And just like he did over there, I think he'll eventually have some winning seasons.
Sounds like it was really helpful for McVay to have you when he got that first opportunity. Like, you made that. I don't know any other star players that would be mature enough.
Yeah.
You were in your 30s at that point.
Yeah, I was probably 31.
31, and you pulled a 22-year-old head coach, or not head coach, 22-year-old assistant coach aside, and you kind of let him know that you were going to follow him.
Yeah, I'm like anyone else. I like what I heard from the guy. I said in the meetings, and at the time we had Keenan McCardell. He was the head receiver coach, but Keenan was just like us, learning this new offense. He was a new head coach, and he's learning this offense for the first time. So everything that was coming out might have been something that, he didn't say right or we didn't get. And Sean would clean it up for him, and I sit back and I admit him, and I just nod my head like he knows something. And so when he talked and everyone talking, give him his time because, bro, we honestly need him because he's telling us something that's going to be something that's valuable for us in this next game or this offense or this practice. I never felt like I had made it or arrived to where I wanted to be. And I don't know if it's because the different quarterbacks I played with or the struggles of the teams I was on when we didn't go to playoffs and different coaches.
You mentioned the quarterbacks. So I was looking at the stats and I remember preparing for you thinking like, I don't want to play this guy. But your quarterback was never all that.
Never had the elite ones, you know?
Do you ever think about what your career would have been like had you ended up in a better situation?
I look back at it and say, who was better fit to deal with this than me? You know, I see, you know, it was two guys I paid close attention to all my career. Reggie Wayne and Andre Johnson. Those were my guys. Me and Reggie came into college together, we left together. We came into the league together, we left together. But Andre Johnson was one of the guys that he was younger than us, and I took him under my wing when he first got to UM, and I never looked back. That was always like my little brother. So I look back and see some of those guys. Reggie got it. He was fortunate, man. He had Peyton Manning. Then when he had Peyton got out of there, you had Luck. You know, Dre was similar to mine, but being that he was one of those guys that the team say, hey, we're gonna just go through Dre, he was able to still accomplish great things, you know. The one stat that stand out the most to me is that I never put years on what I wanted to, you know, how long I wanted to do it or how many yards I wanted to accomplish. I just wanted to go out there and accomplish greatness. And I feel like if you can play through with 14 different quarterbacks, with two different teams and still accomplish 10,000, plus receiving yards, still put in 14 seasons, still catch over 66 touchdowns and 700 something plus catches, then, why should you sit there and worry about what ifs, you know?
How often do you think about concussions and CTE? Like, I mean, it's something that I think about a lot.
I didn't think about it a lot when I was playing. Now that I'm done, I forget everything. I mean, and it's not just saying this because what we going through and all that. Bro, it's true. I'm not a forgetter. I remember everything. I asked my son, you remember when you was 4, you did this? He like, how you remember it? I remember when I was 4, what I did. I mean, that's true. Like, I remember everything. And now I find myself I could be in a conversation on the phone and I'm like, I come back to you with that. They're like, what you mean? I was gonna ask you something and I just forgot. And it's funny, but it's not. Because I said to him like, man, what is going on? And so, I've had concussions. Before they diagnosed them as concussions, I've had concussions. Played with them. Didn't think nothing else. Thought it was you got your bell rung. When we was young, when you hear that little, that's your bell rung. You got your bell rung. You tough if you can fight through it. That's what I thought. So every time I heard that bell, and if I can still see you, and it might be blurry, but guess what? I ain't getting off that field because I ain't gonna let you as a man feel like you got the best of me. And that's just how I grew up. I remember I watched the play. They were showing highlights of the kid, Cam.
Yeah, Cam Chancellor.
Chancellor, oh my God, he's a beast. And they were showing his highlights, and I remember the play he hit me, and it was crazy. That was my first game back from a broken hand. I had missed 4 games. And I remember my head hitting the ground before. I literally was like in one of those, I did the scorpion, whatever you call it, my back of my head hit the ground, then my legs came over. And I remember getting up, and I remember not seeing or hearing nothing. Everything was silent, and it was blurry. And I remember getting in the huddle, and everybody looking at me just hit me, and I was numb, because I didn't feel it. I mean, I guess my bell was rung again. But I sit back and think, I didn't miss a down that game. Did I finish? Did I back down? No, because you considered yourself as tough going through that. And you can call us stupid or crazy as players, but that's what we know. That's all we know. So now dealing with it and knowing what concussions are, it's scary. It's scary, man. And I'm happy that they put the protocols they put in place because a lot of us done played through years of dealing with this thing and not knowing what it was. I can say I remember 4 or 5 of them that I didn't come back from. Like 3 of them I had to leave the game. And that was just way after the fact that we realized what they were. I remember games where you could have put me out of the game for many a games because my bell was rung. And just to hear it and just to hear the scariness about some of these guys writing notes and saying, leave this intact because I want you to examine it, I'm not ready to go. And for you to be ready to go because you're dealing with something mentally that I don't know that can cause you to lose your mind and lose everything that you'd have gained, that's scary. So I just hope they do right by us, man. I say this time and time again, we've done so much for this league, whether you was a marquee guy or not. You was a part of that 53, he was a part of something that no one could take away from you.
I remember when guys would get knocked out early in my career, they would bring him to the sideline and ask him a couple questions, like, what day of the week it was, or like, do ABCs backwards or something like that. Do you remember having to do those sort of things?
I don't remember them all. I recall this one because it was a discussion that we had for years, and I'm probably still gonna have this discussion with some of my ex-teammates. We was in Atlanta, I believe it was Atlanta. And I remember being knocked out. And when I watched the film, it just made me, I was like, man, I was in a moment I want to be in. But they said I was knocked out and I was just, froze. And when I woke up, I thought I was down for a second, and I was asking the guy to pick me up. And so Liddell Betts, I believe, was our running back at the time, because Portis had just got knocked out and left the game. And Liddell Betts was like looking at me. And when I guess when I came through, I was like, bro, pick me up. And I cursed him out, and he was laughing about it, because they was like, Tanner, boy, you cursed Liddell out, man. You was calling him all kind of MFs. I was like, he was just looking at me. He was like, bro, you was knocked out. I didn't want to touch you. So I'm like, I wasn't knocked out. The whole game, I told him, and I played the rest of the game. Like, man, I wasn't knocked. When I watched that film, I went home and watched that film, I was disgusted, man. I was like, man, that happened to me. And I didn't, it was so long that when I came through, I thought it was a second that I hit the ground and I was asking for help to get up. And he was like, bro, that's why I didn't touch you. So when you looked at me like that, I was like, I'm not gonna do nothing, because I didn't know what to do. So just knowing, man, bro, we play a hard sport. I wish I knew basketball or baseball. I wish. But at the end of the day, man, I have no regrets of playing it, because I loved it. It's something that I love. A lot of people do it for many other reasons. If they didn't pay us to play it, I still play it. And that's just something that I grew up, dreaming to do, and that's what I did.
Yeah, I know those stories. I remember laughing about stories like that when I was a player. They get less funny the further you get away from the game.
Especially dealing with what we deal with. I mean, like I say, man, I'm not the guy to sit around and talk about it, because I don't feel like what's old news is old news. Like I said, I don't dwell over spilled milk, but we have issues, man, and it's gonna probably, get worse. I'm knocking on wood that it don't, but I just try to live for what I have and how I am, and appreciate it, because the forgetful stuff, it kills me now that I forget. And I'm sitting here like, I'm 38, come on, is this gonna get worse? I'm like, is this gonna get worse?